Hello, this is Francis from Good Team. And I'm going to show you how to create a static list and an active list and explain the differences in the two. So if you're familiar with CRMs or really any sort of email housing lead management system, you probably are familiar with lists and maybe even tags. The way that HubSpot helps you track um, contacts is through a static list and an active list, which is pretty much what it sounds like. A static list is kind of your traditional marketing lists. It's a set number of people, and if you want to remove someone, you have to manually remove them. If you want to add somebody, you've got to manually add them. So that's kind of your classic lists where you set and forget. An active list is a newer style list where if a contact takes an action or makes some sort of indication that they, whatever trigger you want to set on it, it will constantly upload the list. So HubSpot will automatically add and remove contacts based on the action that you set. Okay, so if you want to accomplish this, what you're going to need to do is go to Contacts and Lists in your portal. And you can either import your list or create a new list based on contacts that are already in your CRM. Something to note, if you decide to import the list, it will only be saved as a static list. You cannot create active lists based on imports. So for this example, I'm going to create a contact-based static list based on folks who have opened a marketing email. So if someone has ever opened a marketing email, I want them to be added to this list. Something also to note difference between static and active list. Static is more, let's think about actions that has happened in the past, and active lists are actions that are going to happen in the future, right? So static test email opens is what I'm going to call this, and make sure to select static list there. And then you're going to add the filter. So the filters here work very similarly to the way that they work in workflows. It's just conditional logic. So for this static list, what I want to do is I'm going to be tracking contact properties. And again, I want to see who has opened a marketing email. So I don't really care about segmenting. I just want to know who has ever opened an email from us. So I'm going to say the first group we're tracking as marketing emails is equal to known, meaning that HubSpot needs to find anybody who has the known value marketing email opened, right? You can go pretty deep into this, adding multiple groups and multiple filters within those groups. But for this example, we're just going to do that one filter, and I want to know who has opened marketing emails. A preview will populate here, just so you know we don't have any contacts in this hub, so there's nobody there. Once you're done, you're just going to hit Save List, and you'll see if you go back to your lists, there is your static list. So you can see here that it's a static list and it's contact-based. Very similarly, we're going to be creating a active list. We'll call it Test Active Email Opens. And same thing, contact-based on the active list. Click Next. I'm going to apply the exact same filter, contact property, last marketing email open is known. Let that populate. It's probably going to get messed up because we've got the same thing going on here. And hit Save, and you'll see you've got an active list and a static list. So with that static list, it will only be up until the point that you created the list, those contacts will be added. With the active list, anytime someone opens a marketing email, they will be added to this list. So a great way to use these, think about it, static lists are your traditional lists. If you're just trying to upload a specific, maybe it's leads from an old CRM, you just need to bring them over to the new CRM. You don't really want to mess with anything other than knowing that these are the old leads. But maybe as a contact is moving through their journey, you want to speak to them differently. You've got cold, warm, and hot leads. Active lists are a great way to keep them segmented. One way that we use them is to know who we need to be sending marketing emails to. So if someone is engaged with our content, we want to be sending them more content. If they're unengaged with the content, then we don't want to send them content because they're not opening it. We don't want to annoy them. So we have a list that is active marketing contacts and inactive marketing contacts, and we speak to them very differently. So that's the difference and how to create active and static lists in HubSpot.